Wakefield. Leeds Rhinos have defended their crown.
What a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Austin is through and Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. Henderson is a poor lad. That is one sensational try.
Look out with a drop goal. Leeds gather round in jubilation.
It's hit the post. It's Wellesby. Wellesby might have got the try. St Helens are champions once again.
Hello and welcome to Betfred's Last Tackle. The last time we had fans at a game was March 2020. On Monday, the fans are back.
These walls were built for more than they currently contain. These terraces, famed for noise and excitement, need to feel it again. Without fans, what is our game? This year has revealed to us what matters most. Faces of friends and things we do together to make us feel close. To get to this point, we've needed strength and unity more than ever. These emotions we feel standing shoulder to shoulder and singing together. Wonders shouldn't have to wear a shroud. These unparalleled moments deserve to be seen by a crowd.
Oh, he's hit the post. The ball is disappearing. It's Wellesby. Tom Johnston has gone the length of the field to score a sensational try. Hardacre, a little chip kick over the top. He will chase it. There is space there. He'll get it.
You have witnessed the quickest ever try scored in Super League.
This is the first step, a sign the ship's turning around. It brings us great pleasure to welcome some fans back to the ground.
So crowds are back on Monday night in the Betfred Super League. I'm delighted to welcome to the studio the assistant coach of the Warrington Wolves, Andrew Henderson, and a former Warrington skipper, of course, Adrian Morley. Gents, thanks for joining us. And no, crowds are back.
I know, how good is it? Let's talk about it. No, fantastic that we get to see them back. I mean, I know there's plenty of people I've spoke to within the community game and just around the town that are just absolutely ecstatic. They're buzzing. They cannot wait to see their teams and their clubs grace the hallowed turf again. So, and I think just us as well as players and staff members, you know, to welcome the energy and the noise that the fans bring to a game, and I think it's something we have missed. It's been a different dynamic for us to deal with over the past 12 months, but you know, to really get some of that energy back, you know, within the game, really, I'm looking forward to it personally.
We just saw there, some moments deserve a crowd, don't they? You know?
They do, that grand final in particular, but I totally agree with you, Hendo, where you know, the crowds are what make rugby league such a special game, and the interaction with the players and the crowd. And you know, not many sports where the players stay behind, you know, clap the fans, salute the fans, and then in the players' bar after the interaction, you know, they're very accessible, the players. So to have that back is fantastic. And you know, I've watched a couple of games now with no crowd, and it's a very eerie feeling. So to have that buzz, to have that roar back, I can't wait. And just watching that clip, then it got the adrenaline flowing already. Because
more than a lot of sports, let's be honest, there's a real connection between rugby players and the fans, isn't there?
100%. I mean, I just mentioned the accessibility, and the players are quite happy to have that. You know, a lot of the players know the spectators by first names, and you can't say that in virtually any sport, really. So to have that back is great for each town, great for each city, and great for the game. Let's be fair. So it's been a sad loss for the last 12 months, but fingers crossed all goes well and we can add to the totals week on week and month on month.
And how weird has it been? And then, you know, well, shouting at the fellas at times, and no crowd at all.
Yeah, look, it's been, like I said before, it's been a different dynamic, Mark. What it has done is it's allowed us to actually really hear the noise levels, pitch side in terms of what the players are saying, how they're communicating. Because on a game day, when you've got, anywhere from sort of 5 to 15,000, 20,000 fans, you can't always hear what's going on, certainly pitch side, or when you are set up in the stands as a coach as well. So it's been an interesting, take on that, to hear what how the running of the game's going and who is taking control and who is being vocal, who isn't, and cueing the certain things that are going on. So that's been interesting. But I can't disagree with what you said before, Adrian, about how eerie, it's been an eerie feeling, a ghostly sort of feeling out there. It's become the new norm, I guess. But so I'm actually really looking forward to when we have this first game back with some fan interaction. I mean, just to see the looks on the players' faces, how they're going to respond, how they're going to react, because they've almost got used to not having that noise behind them. And as we both know as former players, the energy that a crowd can give, they can lift you at times. They really can make a difference. And some of these teams that are perhaps struggling a little bit at the moment, that fan injection when they're playing at home, because we're now back at our home grounds, that could be the difference between getting them over the line and getting the 2 points or not. So, it's certainly a welcome addition for many reasons.
Just going back to your point, I didn't realise some of the noises about them hits as well when the crowd's on and when you're playing, but you can just hear them thundering into each other. It just made me realise just what a brutal sport is. I thought, I can't believe I played that for so long, but you can hear every crunching tackle, and it's just not nice, really, is it?
I was lucky enough to be at the snooker final, which was a full capacity. Luke Gale came over to see us as well. He did a trick shot on the BBC. He said that obviously, I know he's been injured of late, but he said he really did struggle, because obviously he was used to either being cheered or booed as well.
Yeah. It's like I said, when it first happened and first occurred, obviously nobody knew kind of what to expect, and it was strange. I'll never forget that first game that we played, and you stepped out there, and it was just like an empty stadium. You're looking around, and you're just so used to the colour and the energy and the vibrancy that the fans bring, and you just didn't have any of that. Yeah, it was weird. It was like when you're organising a post session against another team, in pre-season when you're leading up to the season. Just strange sort of feeling. But then not only that, also being ushered to certain areas, and you're segregated. You're not allowed to leave that area, and you can only go into that area, and that was kind of weird as well. So you didn't even have the free reign or the free roam of where you could go to. So there's a lot of things that you've had to sort of adapt to. But like I said, that is now long gone. There's still measures in place, but we are very much looking forward to it.
Because you played off the crowd, didn't you? Whether it was being cheered or booed. You loved it, didn't you?
I did love it, and a lot of the players do thrive on that. Whether it's cheering you for good things or booing you for not so good things, but it's just fantastic to have that interaction. And you just mentioned a lot of players, having take that away from them, the game has not been the same. So hopefully, with the crowds coming back, we'll get everyone's performance lifted, and it certainly does give you a lift. When you put a big shot on and the crowd roar, or Morley, you dirty so and so. It's just fantastic. Either or. So let's get it back, and let's have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see you all back starting on Monday. So limited crowds are back. We had no crowds for the Betfred Challenge Cup quarterfinals, but we had 4 cracking matches.
It's the speed that they've got up the middle of the field. Look at this.
Toby King is away, got support inside as well, and Darryl Clark is going to be too quick. Warrington, red hot inside, a couple of minutes. Tackles left the Wolves to set up. This is the last one. Darryl Clark, the runner is Hill. Chris Hill fires an offload. It's 2 for Darryl Clark. Warrington have to withstand 2 more here. Dudson flicks the ball, comes to Drinkwater through the legs for Farah, over the top. It will be in. McMeekin scores for the Dragons.
Saints in their traditional white with the red V. Caesar, that's a good kick from Caesar. The chase there from Lawrence. And what a start for the Huddersfield Giants. Now it is Farge. Farge again trying to put the little kick through. It comes to Grace. Grace will try and stretch over. Has he managed to get the ball down? Will the referee game child here? Luke Yates. It was. Lomax it is to Percival. Percival comes inside. Percival will ground the ball. Well, brilliant centre play there from Mark Percival. O'Brien. He goes to the left-hand side. This is quick out. This is McIntosh, and that's a fantastic try. Saints are running it on the last, and the ball goes out to Regan Grace. Grace cuts inside. Grace goes for all. McQueen quickly to play the ball. Caesar goes towards the Garma. Play on, says the referee. Play on, and the ball will come here to McIntosh. Run right in front of those posts again. Roby, they go to Farge. Farge misses one out. Long pass out to Grace. Grace goes for the hat-trick. And Regan Grace will get the try.
Powell again. Switches right. Smith extends it further. Isa with a pass. And Bibby is over in the corner. Houghton again, short pass, and it's a pushover from Chris Satai. Tiny drop, a smidgen of optimism, but that's all it is, because there's only 80 seconds to go. The kick for Manfredi, who has scored the try. Well, Hastings knows that, French knows that, Isa knows that, because he's dropped it, and it's going to finish, some would say, in fitting style, because a man who's been outstanding throughout the afternoon is going to have the final say with a try from a 80-metre interception.
An attacking kick might be delivered now from Kevin Brown, and that's drifted. Maybe in the breeze, it's pitched up awkwardly. Kind of sort of try. McShane then unload again with Smith. John Smith can't be far away. I think we're going to the video referee now, Ben Thaler. Gestures for the screen.
The team world. Nice little shots up.
Oh, Levett! Harvey Levett gets his second try. Further impetus here. Watts. Oh, lovely pass to Millington. They're in the corner. Beautifully worked. Good ground, leaving defenders on the floor. McShane gets the pass away. And that's beautiful for Shenton. For Salford. Akinotto. Mossop. Oh, Mossop. The posts are gaping. O'Brien. Has he slotted that one? Yes, he has. Salford's bravery is all in vain.
So let's recap those scores. On Saturday, it was Hull FC beating Wigan. Hell of a game. Castleford and the Golden Point beating Salford. And Friday night, it was Catalans getting beat by Warrington. And then Saints, a dogged performance against Huddersfield. Right, let's start with Warrington's win. How important was that then, Hendo?
Yeah, very important. Obviously, we've had some good success in the Challenge Cup in recent years, and obviously we're determined to go there and do a job again. But it's one step at a time, and we played Catalans 2 weeks prior to that fixture, so we had a little bit of a handle on what was coming at us, etc. And I just thought it was a really committed, determined performance from the Warrington Wolves. I felt we were calm, we were patient. I thought we frustrated Catalans at times there. We didn't allow them to play and give them the opportunities that they normally enjoy. But in saying that, we had to show great character at the end of the game, because I felt Catalans, they had an opportunity there with about 15-20 to go, and there was a spell.
They came stronger in the second half.
They did, and they were camped on our line. I think it was about the 70th minute for about 5 sets. I think they had 5 repeat sets on our line, and we just kept turning up for each other. We had so much energy, compete, scramble, and just turned them away. And I thought that showed a lot of character, and it showed probably that desire that we had. We probably had a little bit more desire than that Catalan Dragons side to win the game and progress. So overall, really pleased with the performance. Still areas for us to improve on, Mark, but like I said, it was definitely a very committed, determined performance with a lot of desire shown.
Was you pleased with Greg Inglis' performance?
Yeah, look,
he's getting busier, isn't he?
Absolutely. Look, yeah, Greg, as we know, it's a process with him at the moment, gents. We've been very, very careful with how we've managed him and brought him back. We've not rushed him back too soon. He played in the centres in his first game. He's been moved into fullback now with the injury to Matty Ashton. So, and I thought he did a solid job at the back there. Certainly, he looked comfortable positionally. He was always in the right place for where the ball was. He marshalled our troops really well at the back in terms of getting our numbers right defensively. And we had a few opportunities where he chimed in. Would like to see a little bit more ball in the hands of Greg Inglis, because when he does carry, we haven't seen him really penetrate and break the line as yet. However, when he does carry, he leaves bodies on the ground. He's a big human. He's a big man. He's strong. He's powerful. So he does generate some ruck speed that you can play off the back of. So hopefully that we can find ways to bring Greg Inglis into the game a little bit more.
And what's he like to work with?
Great fella. Really, really enjoying him so far. I wasn't sure what to expect with Greg when he turned up. Obviously, he's been out of the game for a number of years. And would he have the motivation, the hunger, all those sort of things? But he's come into the environment. He's accepted that he's had to have this plan in place for him to get him where he needs to get to. He's worked very hard with that. He's been great with some of our younger players too. And he's helped lift the standards around the place, drive those standards. So, he has added value, I believe, to the organisation.
Moz, St Helens, it was a Regan Grace hat-trick, but they had to fight against Huddersfield, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and I think Huddersfield are improving week on week. I think when they played St Helens in the Super League a few weeks ago, that was the turning point. Ian Watson's demeanour after the game was very positive, and they got the win since then against Leeds. So yeah, it was a proper cup contest. Saints had to fight for everything, but they were in it. They certainly won't want any. There was no rolling over by Huddersfield, and whoever they get going forward in the Super League now, they'll be more than a match. I can guarantee that.
And Endo, you were working for the BBC on the most exciting game of the weekend, Castleford versus Salford, and well, ironic, Gareth O'Brien, golden pointed, but this time for Cass, of course.
Yeah, he is the master of the drop goal, isn't he, Gareth O'Brien? If you want anybody to slot your drop goal and get that match-winning drop goal, it's Gareth O'Brien. He's done it time and time again, hasn't he?
He did that massive one for Salford, didn't
absolutely.
he? In the £1 million game.
He stands up and delivers, doesn't he, all the time? But I'll tell you something, it was tough conditions out there. You may not have been able to see it on the TV, but it had been a lot of rainfall through the day. It was greasy, so it was never going to allow a fast, free-flowing game. It was always going to be a sort of a tight game that was going to be, tries were going to be scored off kick plays or barge overs close to the line, which is essentially what we saw in the game. But and I could say, both teams would argue there'd be areas of improvement within the game they would like to make, but it was a gripping contest, wasn't it? It was a gripping contest. It was going there to the wire. I thought Salford, God bless them, I just thought if they were able to, they did so many good things in the game, and I just felt if they had a little bit more consistency of some of those good periods, I think they may have jagged the result. It just seemed to be that every good thing they did, they undid it with a piece of ill discipline or an error, and they just couldn't get that flow or fluidity with their game. Castleford, for me, I did feel at times they were going a little bit through the motions. I felt they had another gear in them, and they needed to up tempo a little bit. But at the end of the day, they were patient. They were composed. They just went through the process and eventually got across the line. So, but it was a gripping contest, to watch.
I think Paul McShane was probably the difference. He was absolutely outstanding for
Castleford. Outstanding player, isn't he?
Yeah, he'd just been given the man of the match, and then he did the massive effort with a charge down, and then went up the other end. But I just thought Salford should have and could have done better when Cass went down to 12 men and then 11 men. They could have capitalised on that, and it could have been a different result. But you're right, great game. Any game that goes to golden point is, it's just no nails and excitement time, isn't it?
And what about Hull Wigan? Defeat for Wigan there. Can we read too much into that? I mean, Chris Satai for Hull was superb, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And, Hull are, before the season started, we talked about them as being a potential...
Are they finding that consistency? That's what we spoke about pre-season, wasn't it?
I think they've had one loss this year, haven't they, against, a great side. And, Wigan, it was a great contest. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of passion there. It was a proper cup tie, but, they just got to beat off a better side on the day. And, Hull are going to be up there, and, they've had a bit of success in this competition over the last few years. So that could give them the incentive to get there, and they want to make the mark in Super League as well. So Hull could be up there in the Challenge Cup and the playoffs in Super League. So we'll see how they go.
Let's talk about these semi-finals. I suppose it was destiny you were going to get Castleford.
It was always scripted, wasn't it? It was written in the stars, so to speak, that we were going to get Castleford. But yeah, look, I think they're two great cup ties. I think there's some great storylines for both of them. Hull FC and St Helens have both been knocked out at these
two cracking games.
Yeah, either both teams have not enjoyed the most success in the Challenge Cup in the last few years, so both will be determined there. Cass Warrington's got its own storyline for obvious reasons, So yeah, look, I think it's there's two cracking games there. Interesting to note with Hull FC, I wanted to make the point before that with Scott Taylor being out of the team now, there was a lot of talk about will the forward pack be able to step up now without Scott Taylor, their sort of talismanic figure, and boy did they step up against Wigan on the weekend. So I think that's a big plus for the Hull FC side. They'll draw some confidence with that going into this next cup tie, that their forward pack can really step up and match St Helens.
Yeah, no, I think all four semi-finalists have had experience of playing in the big one, so they know what a great experience it is, and they know what it takes to get there, and what it takes to ultimately win. So I agree with you. Two fantastic, compelling fixtures there. So can't wait. Bring on the semis.
And Warrington fans watching, you going to be going for this?
What's that?
You can be going for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we certainly will be, Mark. Like we're determined to win silverware this year. There's no doubt about it. And at the end of the day, we want to win both trophies or 3 trophies that are on offer. So we'll certainly be very determined to try and get the result done. But like you said, we can't get ahead of ourselves. We're going to get focused back on the Super League now for a couple of weeks, and then we can attack the Challenge Cup and give it everything that we've got.
Yeah, June the 5th penciled in at the moment. There'll be an announcement in the next 48 hours about where, but also we're going to have the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup final, and that's going to be live on the BBC for the first time as well. That is just fantastic. That's going to be live on the BBC for the first time.
Yeah, look, it's great. I mean, I think it's fantastic now that we're showcasing the women's game and we're creating opportunities. And that's one thing, and I've said it in the past with rugby league, we're a very inclusive sport. We're a sport that does provide opportunities for all walks of life, through different variations of our game and modifications of our game. And I think it's great now that the women are being recognised. There's been a huge push for women's sport, not just rugby league, in other sports in recent years. And it's great. I think rugby league, to some degree, are almost at the forefront of that now. Just to get this sort of television exposure now nationally is fantastic. So, and we saw some cracking quarter-final ties too in the Women's Challenge Cup, which we'll probably speak about shortly. But no, I think it's great. It's great that we're showcasing that.
The Women's Super League, it's getting a lot more attention and a lot more profile as well, and quite rightly so. And this is fantastic to be on, national TV, the women's game. So go the women.
Yeah. So the 2 semi-finals are Castleford versus York City Knights. York's Lindsay Anfield, of course, faces her own club. She's also signed 5 cast players of late as well. And then Leeds versus St Helens. So 2 cracking semi-finals. And then the final will be live on BBC Two. Now, one of those games, or possibly both, might be live on the Sportsman. So we'll let you know when we've got the details of that. Let's turn our attention to the Super League. Just the one game on Friday night. Leeds versus Wakefield. And then all the other fixtures are on Monday, so we can allow a crowded, of course, on Monday. So fair play to Leeds for agreeing to play on Friday night, fulfil a Sky fixture. And, let's talk about your own club, Moz. What's going on? They've only won 1 game this season, and that was Wakefield on the first day of the season. But I know they've had a hell of a lot of injuries. Luke Gale should be back. But Leeds need to get going.
They do, and you wouldn't have thought you'd been saying that about the Leeds Rhinos this round at this stage of Super League. So it's a massive, massive game for Leeds Rhinos. I would even say it's a must-win if they've got any aspirations to make the playoffs. I think this is a game they should be winning, really. But you mentioned the injuries, and you are right. They have had a bad injury list, but you can't really use that as an excuse. And the teams have been put out against these, opposing teams that have been more than capable of getting the win. They have come close on a number of times, but they've not quite been picking up the wins. So it's a bit of a worry. But I'm sure Richard Agar will have the troops fired up. But massive game for Leeds. But Wakefield, they've been quite close on a number of occasions. They'll be desperate to get their Super League win ratio off the mark. So massive game, and looking forward to watching this one.
Yeah, really looking forward to Monday night. The crowds are back and live on Sky's Warrington versus Huddersfield. Right then, Endo. Everyone's talking about Saints.
Yes.
Plenty of people talking about Wigan.
Yes.
I've not heard a load of chat about Warrington, but you've only lost 1 game.
Excuse me, before we started, I did say Warrington are going to win the Super League this year. So
yeah, but you've said that for the last 5 years.
It's always our year, isn't it?
Turn the corner, but go on.
No, but you've only lost 1 game, and that was against Cass.
Yep. Yeah,
and that was the first game as well, wasn't it?
It was the first game of the season, and we weren't great that day. Look, no, we're just quietly going about our business, Mark. We sort of know. Look, the Super League season, it's a marathon of a season, isn't it? You've got to. It's a process of building towards the back end and peaking at the back end, and that's what we're sort of focused on doing. Obviously we want to have a great cup run as well, which at the moment we're still in that competition, which is great. But everything is all geared towards having a big push at the back end of the season. Yeah, I'm personally, I'm happy where we're at the moment. I think we're in a good place. I think we're seeing plenty of effort, plenty of energy, plenty of commitment. Again, we're not firing on all cylinders at the moment, but there's not many teams at this stage of the season that are, to be honest, you know. And like I said, it is a process to get better and better each week. So you are at your best and playing your best, you know, at the back end of the season. So yeah, look, we're happy where we're at the moment, Mark. Like I said, we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We know there's going to be many challenges. You know, looking at Huddersfield this week. I mean, Huddersfield, if you're looking at the Super League and table, they're not doing so great, but they're improving. Performances have improved massively in recent weeks. So, you know, you can see by watching them, they are getting better each week, and they're not far off, you know, chalking up another win. So hopefully not at the expense of us, but, you know, like I said, they're getting better too. So we know we're going to have to be strong on Monday night. Like I said, it's great to be able to welcome back our home fans, you know, which can hopefully be part of that. But yeah, like I said, it's we're not too bothered about the press that we're not getting. It's not about that. Let everyone talk about Saints and Wigan and the likes and Hull FC, and we'll just keep going about it.
If Greg Inglis keeps improving and gets up to near where the player he once were, he could be the X factor. And
could be. But we've got a long way to go, gents. We're only early days of the Super League. Long way to go.
So Monday night, live on Sky, it's Warrington versus Huddersfield. The other games, Castleford versus Hull KR. Hull versus the Catalan Dragons. Lee still searching for that first win. They've got Wigan on Monday night. And then St Helens versus the Salford Red Devils. It's Mental Health Awareness Week. Now, RL Cares do so much behind the scenes for mental health. Let's hear from the former Warrington player, Paul Wood.
Paul, thank you for joining us. It is Mental Health Awareness Week. It's a national campaign, but could you just tell us a little bit more about Rugby League Cares, what it is and what it's doing this week specifically, and in general to help with positive mental health?
Yeah, well, there's a few things with Rugby League Cares. One of the things that it does is help professional rugby league players, current professional, former professional rugby league players with education. There is mental health issues that they deal with as well. But there's a number of things that they're doing in the local community as well, which is going round to all the amateur clubs around the country. There's a project at the minute called Ahead of the Game, which is running, coinciding with the Rugby League World Cup, which is taking part at the end of the year, and they'll deliver to over 10,000 kids and coaches, community coaches, to emphasise the importance of mental fitness, and that educating the players, the coaches, to the signs where they feel people may be struggling.
And I can see it on your T-shirt there. Just tell us a little more about the offload programme.
Yeah, the offload programme was put together. It's aimed around men who are going through struggles, again, mentally, where they need a safe place to come and speak, really. And, just when they're coming up with challenging times within their life, that we can give them some tools to help combat that. There's some of the programmes that we put together, analysing negative thinking, positive influences, that type of thing. So it's about giving them a mindset of positivity, but also gives them some tools to do recreationally away from the programme as well, which can hopefully boost the mental fitness.
Good. I'd like you to give us one top tip for positive mental well-being that our viewers can take away.
Oh, that's pretty tough to give one. There's a couple of things that I like to do, but something that I've been speaking about recently is your support network and the people that you hang around with. I think having a support network, having people around you that you can openly share with, but also who will give you the right feedback. People who can be honest with you and have your best interest at heart. I like to look at my friends, and the ones who celebrate the successes with me tend to be my genuine, true friends. The ones who can be honest when I'm falling out of line with me. That is my support network that I have around me. So I think having you're a product of your environment. I think that having the close support network of friends around you is a key to this. And if you can share your troubles with somebody, then that's brilliant.
RL Cares do outstanding work, and I've done Offload, which is a fantastic scheme that's been put on by Rugby League. You witnessed some of the Offload as well, haven't you?
Yeah. No, look, we've run that out of the through our community foundation at Warrington. We've run that program out of the HJ for a number of years, and I was fortunate enough to go down and spend some time with it. And it is an incredible program. It really is. There's a real genuineness about it, and for anybody who is out there who has thinking about taking part in the offload program, please do. You know, I really welcome you to go down and have a look at it, because you know it's not an intimidating place. Everybody is very warm, welcoming. You've got great support there. You can be yourself. Everyone's very open and honest and true and genuine. And like I said, you know, there's been some really good friendships formed through that offload program. But also, most importantly, it is a support network there for you to help you through those difficult times. But it's a great program which has been run through.
It's Mental Health Awareness Week, Miles. Basically, it's all right to say I'm not all right and ask for help. Isn't it?
It is, and Rugby League are the forefront of campaigns like this. It took the unfortunate passing of my best mate Terry Newton for the Rugby League to get the State of Mind campaign going, but since then it's been a huge success. So much so that other sports have took on the State of Mind campaign and other industries, and the more people we can help who could are potentially struggling, the better. But Rugby League, they realised there was a bit of an issue, and they've done something about it, and they continue to do things in the future, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I can fully recommend the offload. It is a fantastic scheme, and well done to everyone connected with that. Right, let's get some more highlights and look back at the best of the action from the Championship.
Being dragged back a Big Ten. Jump goes back to Dean. Dean right-footed charge down, and the break coming out for Featherstone, and they're racing away here.
Dixon's going to catch him.
Hall going for the line. They're trying to get back. They won't. Featherstone are going to win it. Craig Hall has just got 70 metres to break York City Knights' hearts and win it. They will remain unbeaten. What a turnaround. York going to win it. And less than 10 seconds later, Featherstone have snatched it surely.
Morris, he retreats back on that defensive try line. Here we go with Finn to Sykes, Sykes to Martin. Martin can't find his way towards that Halifax try line and he's heading towards touch, and look at that for defence. Look at that for Halifax defence. Mark Garside, Nick Rawsthorne, Greg Worthington. Martin has been bundled into touch.
Yeah, great defence again from Halifax Panthers, working hard on the inside. But just going back to the Dewsbury play there and good ball, it just seems too easy to.
Burra goes towards the left, towards Harris. Lovely cut-out ball here to Worthington. Chancing at the corner. Nick Rawsthorne slides over the Dewsbury try line. It is a fourth try for the Panthers, their second in this second half. And it is 26 points to 0. And Simon Grex will be delighted with the response and turnaround from his Halifax side this evening.
Oh yes, he will be, and they started the second half like they played the first 40, and the clear message will be to put an 80-minute performance in his side out.
Il va Tutso. Alors que c'est une portée fermée. Il reste 2 tenues, je crois. Ford encore. Changement de direction. Et Dixon encore. Deuxième essai du match pour Andrew Dixon.
Oui, ça fait surprendre sur le changement de direction là, et un décalage. Dixon qui en a profité. Et encore une défense un peu facile. Plaquage manqué de nouveau.
Plaquage manqué. Grand trou pour Dixon.
Bien joué, Dixon.
That's weak defending though, isn't it? That's weak from Widnes.
Signed last year from London Scholars.
Yeah, Jordan came through the system.
Manuel's got the ball away, and there could be another score before half time here. It's gone out to the wing, and that man Miskey, he's got to be on the try sheet again. 3 tries last week at Sheffield, and give him an inkling. He's in, he's going to take the chance, isn't he? It's another super score here, and the game is changing, and London Broncos are way back in this, and it's another try for Miskey.
It has improved over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Rough controlling the left side, early ball goes out the back to Pickers, Shaw's goes through. Foggy Johnson comes back on the inside. He's a lovely 2-on-1. He's got too much speed from there, Foggy Johnson. He's had a lively start. He's looked impressive so far. Deserves that.
Green comes for it. Oh, he's dropped it. It's picked up by Whitehaven, and Dixon bounces away from a couple. He's down this right-hand side. There's Jesse Joe Parker. Parker in at the corner. Too much strength there for Oldham to contend with. and they've gone further in front of Whitehaven. Great start to the second half of them.
The game's changed a little bit. Oh, they're bunching up here. This is a break, and this is the big chance. And it was Gilmore yet again, and there is going to be another one for Hooley. He's scrambled over the line somehow, I fancy.
So Toulouse and Featherstone unbeaten, and we both said at the beginning of the season that Toulouse and Featherstone would do very, very well.
Well, so far that's demonstrated on the table, isn't it? You know, they've both got off to a great start to the season. Both obviously being the two favourites. I mean, that was a great game against York the other night. It was fantastic. You know, Craig Hall snatching victory from the jaws of defeat there, right near the death, to come up with a much needed result there for Featherstone Rovers. And I'll tell you a team that's been surprising me recently is Batley Bulldogs. I think they've really, you know, for a team that has been probably struggling the last couple of years, I think they've actually been quite impressive. They've chalked off a couple of good results against good teams and are in a decent position there in the table as well. But yeah, I think Widnes will be disappointed, you know, to lose to Toulouse the way they did. 70 points to nil is not a great score, and so there's a lot of work there for Coach Finnegan to get his troops back up and get a response next week. But yeah, there's been some interesting scorelines in the championship over the weekend and in recent weeks as well.
Miles, we started the show on a positive that fans are back. We had another positive last weekend with League One back after this 14-month gap. Isn't it great for these players to be back?
Absolutely fantastic. You know, every level, you know, the amateur level and, you know, going up to Championship 1, but fantastic for the players and for the fans, you know, just to see him. You know, I know they're not through the turnstiles just yet until Monday, but for the fans to see him on TV and our league and things like that, fantastic. And the game really has suffered, but it's just a part and parcel of what's going on in the world. But absolutely fantastic, very, very positive, and long may it continue, and hope there's no hiccups or bumps in the road. And let's crack on.
Well, let's look back at some of the best bits from Betfred League One.
Yeah, as independent as I can, Dave.
Look at this from Randy Chase.
Yeah.
Box up. Yeah. Brilliant. Lovely pick-up.
But
that could have gone very wrong for Holden. Huh?
But for Holden to carry on the run, to not stutter.
As Mossop waits at dummy half, 2 left in the set, comes to this right-hand side, and Carter, long pass, finds Hume. Hume's got it out for the corner. Toll for the corner will score, and that could be the ball game for the Barrow Raiders. Matt Rossley points to the spot.
One of those one-on-one strips there, I think.
Yeah, it was a vintage. As Duran twists, turns, goes for the line, and he's found a way through. I'm not quite sure how Jamie Duran has got through there, but he's managed to jink and jive and step and burrow under the 6. And Workington, having been on the back foot for the opening 10 minutes, they have the lead. The line, but the door quickly shut in his face. Roby looking at options left and right, decides to go right, finds Billsborough, lovely run, the ball goes at the back, Billsborough once more, they're creating the overlap on that right hand side, and Alabama will score in the corner.
Webster hands it on to Morel, puts a little chip in. Oh, and a knock on, and Brendan Sunnigan has it in, and round it back.
Great to have League One back, and Rangi Chase.
Yeah, Rangi
still
Chase,
doing it.
He's still doing the business, isn't he? He's still creating the magic, isn't he? So, yeah, and isn't it fantastic we're seeing at that level now? You know, some of the star quality on show. Even big Fui Moimoi at Rochdale Hornets. You know, I know Rangi and Fui, obviously old mates from back in Australia. You know, going against each other on the weekend. Gavin Henson, another big name that's now in the League One. So there's definitely some big names on show in that department. And again, like I said, some quality rugby league that was on show on the weekend.
It's great to have all the action, so it's time for Try of the Week.
Hello and welcome to the Our League Try of the Week. I'm Dave Woods. Let's have a look at this week's contenders. Try one this week is simply dramatic. This is York against Featherstone. York going for a drop goal that might have won them the game. Instead, it's charged down and picked up by Craig Hall, who goes the distance to score the try that wins it for Featherstone. Quite remarkable. Try 2 is scored by Patrick Arban, these days playing for North Wales Crusaders against the London Scholars. He scored a hat-trick in this game. This was the best of them. Brilliant handling out wide and no problems with the finish for Arban. Try 3, a tight game between Coventry Bears and Barrow Raiders. It's the Raiders that won it, thanks in part to this wonderful finish from Shane Toll. Try 4, from York's Women's Challenge Cup victory against Wigan, Rhiannon Marshall with a wonderful break and a fantastic flick, and there's Grace Field underneath the sticks. Try 5, Jared Sammett, London against Newcastle. Has he still got the magic? You bet he's still got the magic. Wonderful creativity. And finally, try 6, from the Betfred Challenge Cup, Huddersfield beaten by St Helens, but they scored perhaps the try of the game. Darnell McIntosh with this fantastic finish in at the corner. You know what to do. Get voting for your favourite.
Yeah, try of the week, get voting. Right then, Hendo, we've got to ask you about your own future, because we know as Steve Price is leaving at the end of the season, so what's going to happen with your position at Warrington?
Well, obviously, Darryl Powell's going to be coming in as the new head coach of the Warrington Wolves in 2022, and he's obviously bringing his whole performance department with him. So that means I'll be looking for pastures new. So at the moment, my focus is on continuing to support the club and the players as best I can for the remainder of this season. And obviously, I just have to sit tight and wait for the right club and the right opportunity, which I'm looking forward to as well, you know, in terms of the next chapter. So, but like I said, focus is fully on Warrington at this moment in time, and then what will be will be. I'm sure an opportunity will present itself in the coming months.
And would it preferably be a head coach role again? Because you did the Broncos, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think I'm ready to be a Super League head coach now, and I feel, you know, if that opportunity comes, great. But at the end of the day, you've also, I love rugby league and I love working within the game, and I still feel I have a lot to offer as a coach. So if the head coaching role, they're only few and far between, by the way, aren't they? So if there's not one available, then I certainly wouldn't rule out an assistant role if I had to look at that again. But yeah, hopefully a head coaching job will present itself, but we'll wait and see.
Well, you know far more about rugby league than I do, so maybe you could sit here next season if you want.
Well, hey, let's talk afterwards.
Right, let's finish with what we started on. Crowds are back on. Look, I've loved... Rugby league needs a massive pat on the back. The things it was doing during the pandemic, all pulling together, and, you know, I mean, Benny Westwood feeding nurses, you know, bacon sandwiches and stuff like that. The rugby league family has been phenomenal during COVID. We got rugby league back as well, but now to have the crowds back is just fantastic.
Oh, very, very exciting. You know, it is a massive community sport, and the crowds are a huge part of it, and to get them back, it's been so frustrating for the players and for the spectators alike. To have them back is going to be it's going to be awesome. I'm actually doing the Saint Salford game on Monday for our league, so I'll be cheering like a proper fan on Monday night, and I can't wait, Mark.
You get a bit emotional on Monday night when you're warming up the lads up when there's a crowd in?
It'd just be nice to see some of those familiar faces back there. I'm really looking forward to seeing the joy on the fans' faces. You know, I think because you know, I know, like I said before at the start of the show, that, you know, there's a lot of people I've spoke to who, you know, really missed their rugby league, really missed to see it live as well. So I'm just looking forward to see the smiling faces and the just to see the joy in the people, you know, to get to experience this, because it has been so long, hasn't it? It's actually going to be a weird sort of feeling, but certainly one that we'll all embrace, I feel.
Well, gents, really enjoyed the show, and whether you're watching on the sofa or from the stands, enjoy rugby league this week.
What a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Austin is through and Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. Henderson is a poor lad. That is one sensational